Have you ever thought about how you deal with problems and how it might be affecting your life? Hi guys, I'm here to talk about something that I kind of always had in my mind and that helped me so much in all the challenges I faced in life, and I'm pretty sure it can help you too. And in this video I'm gonna talk about the 3 types of problems, how you can approach them, and how not to waste your time and energy worrying about them. I'm Cris Brasil, and every week I'm gonna sit here and talk to you about something that I learned with an approach that can help you understand better the things in your life and improve your mindset to change your reality. And if this is something you want to see, I invite you to subscribe, and I'll stop talking and let's go to the video. This is the very first video of this channel. I have another channel which is in Portuguese because I'm Brazilian, and I decided to translate this one into English because I think this lesson is so good, it's so important, and can help so many people to make your life so much simpler. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, in life we have 3 types of problems. We have the problems that can be solved, the problems that cannot be solved, and the problems that they can be solved, but the solution for them is not in your hands. So, according to this, in theory, every time you face a problem, you need to ask yourself, does this problem have a solution? And if this has a solution, am I supposed to solve this problem? But in reality, even if somebody tells us that the problem that is making us suffer is not that big of a deal, it has a solution, you are not supposed to be suffering because of that problem, sometimes just that is not enough to take us out of the gutter. I think that this is in part because we are in the box with the problem. And in this case, the things that we believe and the things that the people taught us since when we were kids, they play a huge role in here. Have you ever had that kind of problem that you couldn't see the solution and you thought that that was the most difficult thing in the world, and then somebody else went there and solved the problem like it was nothing? Why do you think you could not see the solution for that problem? Why do you think it was so big and intimidating to you? Let that marinate in your brain for a while. We'll circle back in a moment. The problem that can be solved. I think that in an ideal scenario, the simple fact that that problem has a solution or solutions should be enough for you not to worry or suffer about it, right? But for many people, not worrying about a problem is just impossible. And because we are worrying about the problem, well, we have some problems here. Either you don't see the solution because you are too deep in and you cannot see anything in front of yourself, so it makes you believe that really there is no way out. And the crazy thing for this to happen, and here I'm answering the question that I asked before as to why we cannot see the solution, it's exactly because you're stressing about the problem. You understand now? When you worry too much about a problem, it makes it more difficult for you to see what you have in front of yourself and to spot the possible solutions for the problem. Or you can't stop worrying about the problem because of a terrible belief that many of us have, that was passed by our ancestors, the people who came before us, okay, our parents, our grandparents. The belief that if you don't worry about your problems, you are irresponsible. So what I invite you to do here now is ask yourself, when was I able to solve a problem just by worrying about it? The answer is gonna be no. Understand that not only it won't solve the problem, as I mentioned before, it's gonna make it more difficult for you to see your reality, to see what you have around yourself, to see what you have in hands, the cards that you have in hands that you could use to play, because you are worrying about it. You're using the space and the energy in your mind that you could be using to solve the problem, you're using to worry. Get it? The problems that cannot be solved. Okay, you thought about it, you asked around, you researched, you tried and really the problem doesn't have a solution. What should you do about that? In this case, I think what you need to do is either you learn how to minimize the problem so you can live with the problem and this problem is not going to cause damage, or you will need to just learn how to step away, get out of there. An example of the first scenario in which you have to learn how to minimize the problem so the problem is not going to cause damage to you is, for example, you work for a company and you don't like the environment in this company, and right now you cannot just get another job. At this moment, this problem doesn't have a solution. Short short term, can have a solution in the future, but right now you are stuck with it. You need to look around and you need to see ways that you can make your stay in this company and your situation there not so damaging, that you can live with that. What can you do to make that experience not bad? And for the second scenario in which you have to just walk away and give up, I would say when you are in a relationship with somebody who doesn't respect you, and no matter how much effort you put into the relationship, and no matter how much you talk to this person, no matter what you do, the person just doesn't want to change or can't change, or it seems that the relationship is going nowhere. In this case, unfortunately, sometimes you just have to walk away, and it's very hard. It was a decision that I made before, and it was really very hard because you're leaving a relationship, you know, with somebody who you had hopes and dreams, and you built all the sandcastles in your mind, and it just won't work. You have to say, okay, I have to let it go. So this is the second scenario. Sometimes in life, it's better to just walk away. You have to accept the fact that you cannot fix other people, and some problems you just cannot solve. Problems that can be solved, but the solution is not in your hands. So here I'm bringing just one of the scenarios that we see a lot, and let's analyze this scenario. And a side note here, there are many other examples. So let's analyze this scenario and pay attention here because this is very important. Sometimes you have the tools, you can solve the problem, but sometimes you just don't have the right to solve that problem. That problem belongs to somebody else, and that person or those people, they are supposed to solve the problem for some reason. Have you been in the situation in which you see somebody very close to you, maybe a friend, maybe a relative, and you see the person is suffering about a problem, and you see that the problem was created by this person, and you want to solve the problem, you have the tools to solve the problem, you want to solve the problem, but you feel that that problem is necessary for that person. There are many people out there who are suffering right now because they didn't learn the skills that are necessary to solve the problems, because they always had somebody to solve the problems for them. So they never learned how to deal with their problems because they had somebody to deal with them. So let me change my because I'm sitting on the floor. Sometimes you don't have the right to step up and solve the problem. And in this case, in this scenario, when you step up and solve the person's problem, two things might happen. So this person is not going to learn the lesson. This person is not going to learn the consequences of their actions and behaviors. This person is not going to learn how to deal with the problems. And in many cases, because this person didn't learn, this person is going to keep creating more and more problems. In this case, in this scenario, you're not really helping. You're actually causing more problems. But I know that many of us feel that we are very selfish. If we can't solve a problem to a friend or to a relative or somebody close to us, if we are able to solve the problem and we are just not doing anything and we are letting these people suffer, we think that we are selfish, that we don't love this person enough. We have to be able to see further. In life, we have to have that ability to see further, but it's very hard. It's very hard. I was in this situation so many times until I learned this lesson. This is not my problem to solve. This is your problem. You need to learn how to solve it. I'll help you if the things get really, really bad, but I'm not gonna solve the problem for you. You need to learn. Of course, I didn't use these words. I lost some friends. Part of the process. Of course, there are many scenarios. I just chose one because it was very close to my heart. And there are many other scenarios. If you have a scenario that you want to mention, just drop here in the comments. Let's start this discussion. So closing here, always keep in mind that worrying doesn't solve problems. It always makes it more difficult and even creates more problems. There are many divorces being filed, friendships being destroyed. That's my dog that is barking when she was not supposed to be barking, because I talked to her, we had a conversation, and I said, Mom is gonna film and you need to behave because this is the first video Mom is doing in English. Mom is very nervous. I guess she heard me talking. Okay, so going back. There are many divorces being filed. There are many friendships that are being destroyed. And I think, I don't know if this is worse or not, but I'm gonna include here, there are many health problems being generated because people do not know how to deal with their problems, and they worry when they are not supposed to be worrying because people didn't learn how to deal with their problems. And I truly believe that when you understand these three kinds of problems and you start thinking this way, and always try to think in long term too, it helps you to understand and putting in your life that, you know, worrying is not gonna solve the problem. So what I suggest to you to do is, from now on, when you have a problem, you try to step away from the problem and understand, okay, what kind of problem is this? Does it have a solution? If it doesn't have a solution, how can I minimize it? How can I live with this? Is this the situation in which I just have to walk away and give up? Or is this problem supposed to be solved by somebody else? And really have this in your mind. When you start doing this, you can be sure your life is gonna be so much simpler. Anyway, what do you think about that? How do you deal with your problems? Do you think you know how to deal with your problems? Do you worry about your problems? What other scenarios do you see? Let's start this discussion here in the comments below, and let me know what you would like me to talk in the next videos. Thank you very much. That's it for today. Bye.
And I really wanna know, really wanna